Hey y'all, welcome to the Messy Studio. Come on in and see what's going on. Hi y'all, time for another episode of Turn Talk. This time we're going to talk about what to turn. How do you decide? How do you make your decisions, etc. The reason for this particular topic in Turn Talk is because I was asked how I decide what I'm going to make. I noticed there are a lot of turners that will see somebody turn something and they're like, okay, I want to do that. And so they'll do it and post a video of it. And that's fine, it really is. And then you have circumstances like the challenges that are amongst us YouTube turners that I've yet to participate in for one reason or another. Pat Lapp, for example, his 5-minute goblet challenge. I was in the middle of moving my shop from my old place to this one, and I hadn't got set up, and I just never got a chance to get in on that goblet challenge. And that's okay. A lot of people did. It was a lot of fun. Those types of things, that's one way to choose what you're going to do. Typically, that's not what I do, and that's just me. What I do is I will actually just look at a piece of wood, like that little natural edge lidded box I just made. It was going to be a natural edge bowl. That's what I started out. I started out with a blank that I thought was hickory, turned it out to be blackjack oak. I was going to make a little 4-inch or so natural edge bowl out of it. And as I got to turning it, the grain in it said, I don't really want to be that. And then there was a crack that wouldn't have lifted itself without me having to do a whole lot of filling. The crack would have not made for a pretty bowl. So I turned the crack out, and what was left was a semi-bird's mouth shape. So I'm very much largely let the wood tell me what it wants to be. I know that sounds silly. A lot of people think, wow, how do you really do that? But the wood will talk to you if you listen. You have to listen. Now, does that mean every project I do on the lathe is I just put it on there and see what comes out? No, very often I have something in mind, like I did with that natural edge blackjack, but it doesn't always turn out that way. One exception would be my segmented work. With my segmented work, that is planned from start to finish. It's completely drawn out. How many segments I'm going to use, how many rings I'm going to use, what the size is going to be, and what the shape is going to be. And that's, with segmented pieces, that's the way it has to be. It is planned out, and if something goes wrong, you start over and you go again. That's the one exception for me, anyway, in what I do. So that's basically how I decide what I'm going to turn. I grab a piece, I look at it, and I say, I think I'm going to try to make this. Take this piece of mesquite, for example. It's not very big on one end, real lopsided on the other. It's got a big void over here. I have no idea what this might be if I put it on the lathe. Right now, I wouldn't know where to start. I could cut it off about right here and make a bowl out of it, but then what would I do with all this? I don't know. So you put it on and you figure it out as you go. And then you have pieces like this piece of Buckeye burl. I've had this in the shop for about 10 years. I don't know what to do with it. Yeah, I could cut it up and have it stabilized. Here, cut it up into pin blanks and have them stabilized, and that may be in and of what I do. But I don't know that I want to do that. What I might do is cut them into longer, a little bit wider blanks, stabilize them, and use them for finials, because I think that would be pretty. So I don't know yet. Just one of those decisions that you have to make as a turner. What am I going to turn out of this? Or Banksia pods. What do you make out of these? I'm probably going to make Christmas ornaments out of these. I haven't made up my mind yet. I've had these for about 15 years and just never figured out what to do with them. I may rough turn these, or a couple of them, and fill the voids with resin, colored resin, once I get them all cleaned out good, and then make some hollow Christmas ornaments out of them. I don't know. I'll figure it out one of these days when I decide, okay, let's go for one. Another thing that determines what I'm going to turn are my clients. Like when I have someone come to me and say they want one of my Christmas tree ornaments, or they want one of my snowmen, or I make smaller Christmas tree ornaments too, snowmen and Christmas trees and angels and things. I don't like to do so many of those. They're quick, they're not that hard, and they sell well. They just don't interest me that much. That's why I quit turning pins years ago. I say quit turning pins. I haven't quit turning pins. I still turn pins on request, and sometimes I'll get a hair and decide to do something. So where am I going with all this? Well, it was what to turn. How do you decide? For me, I just kind of throw a piece on the lathe and see where the wood takes me. Others do it different. Some people start out with a specific project in mind and they pretty much stick to that. I've never been one that likes those kinds of constraints. I guess that makes me a little like Al, a rebel, but I can live with that. What I'm trying to say is I turn how I feel inspired. If I feel inspired to do something, then that's what I start to do or try to do. I'm sorry this has been a rambling session. I tried to answer a question and just went phing. So get out in your shop, grab a chunk of wood, throw it on the lathe, and turn something. If you start out with something particular in mind, great. But you don't have to. You can let the wood talk to you and let it decide. Very often that happens to be the case with me. Your mileage may vary. So thanks for watching. Y'all come back to the Messy Studio and see what we're up to. Please like, subscribe, share, all that social media stuff. I'm on Twitter, by the way, Billy Burt Sr., if anybody's interested. I've got some of my work put up out there, so I'm trying to follow the lead of how to do all this stuff.